Hey everyone, it's Byron once again, here to testify for Jesus Christ. Going to cover a little bit about the dream from yesterday. I actually did a video on it. I did not realize until a few minutes ago what one of the symbols in the dream actually meant. And I'm referring to a dream from yesterday. I'll put it in the comment section. If you're looking at it on YouTube, you can find it in the comment section. But it dealt with the wrong teens are in first place, or words to that effect. And at one portion in that dream, I stated I had a whiskey bottle. It was a 2-gallon bottle. I had a line that showed me that the what 1 gallon was, and anything above the line was a 2nd gallon. I also talked about people being drunk with the wine. But then at the end, there was something that happened to the bottle, and I just described it the best I knew how. The neck stretched on the bottle, and I explained it was like a carafe that had stretched, a fancy carafe, or something, a flask. I just now realized what it was. The word genie, J-E-N-I, you can think about I Dream of Genie or Genie in the Bottle. It kind of, if you have an American view on it, or maybe a Western view on it, it's some pretty lady like the movie I Dream of Genie. But if you have, say, if you were from the Islamic faith or Muslim faith, a genie is a spirit, and it's a bad spirit, or I don't know exactly how they consider the spirit, but it's not a good spirit. So a genie is a spirit, and what God was doing, and I didn't even catch it, he was showing me, like whiskey. If you go down and buy some spirits, like you go down to a store and it says spirits or something, actually they're selling hard liquor. But then I described it, the neck stretched into like a genie bottle, and then I said we could tie it around the top and keep it upright. And that's more or less like binding spirits. Now, for many of you, this may be elementary. For me, this may be like, elementary. But for me, I'm experiencing some things in my life that I have never really come to grips with. And one of those things is the influence of spirits in people's lives. And as I mentioned yesterday, the wine of the... It's like the wine of Mystery Babylon. I forgot the verse that I used, but there's one that says the wine of the wrath. There's another one, the wine of her fornication. But if you go and you listen to some videos from people that were in the occult, their fornication was to go and seek another god. And in so doing, they were able to conjure up spirits. Some of them did it kind of like they thought was in a friendly way. Some of the witches think that they're actually, as long as I don't hurt anyone, I'm okay. But nevertheless, it's conjuring up evil spirits. Well, if it's the wine of her fornication, which is Mystery Babylon's fornication, that wine would have been representative of those spirits. And those spirits, God showed me yesterday in that dream, and I didn't even know it, was like a genie in a bottle. And I just made the connection. What I want to do is share a small little testimony of what's been going on in my life lately. And it answers something that has always plagued me. I have wondered why a person that I run into, why is it at certain points in conversations or certain times, I don't understand this person. There's a disconnect somehow. Like, for example, I say a phrase or a word, and my intention is one thing. The other person believes it's a completely different intention and can't calm down enough to say, whoa, that's not what I intended. I've seen that happen, and whether it's, my fault or their fault, I think it's irrelevant because it could be working both ways. What is relevant, though, is how many of those times we're talking to a person, and that person, the way it's come across to me, is the person doesn't even recall specifically what they were saying. There would be like a disagreement, and then you mention to the person what they said that what you think is began the disagreement, and they're like, "Oh no, I didn't say that." Now I've seen that happen in testimonies in courtrooms. I've seen that happen in people talking to police officers. I've seen it happen where a third party actually intervened and said, no, wait, don't say that. I just heard you say that. But the person that's doing it actually doesn't even recall. And at a point in time in my life, I thought, well, this person is just making this up, and they're that deviant. But over time, I've realized, and having known people for a length of time, I've realized something is going on with them that they're not necessarily aware of. And I've come to know that that's spirits. And whether or not you want to debate whether a Christian can actually be possessed by a evil spirit, demon spirit, or whether or not they can, that's, you can go and you can spend the rest of your life making videos about that. What I'm here to state is my personal testimony is having witnessed these things happen. Now I know that, I kind of think we're made up of three different parts. We have a spirit, a soul, and a body. And spirit gets along with spirit. The Holy Spirit could be in, our spirit could be in us. But there's other things that spirits can, all right, whole nother subject, and I'm not the expert, don't want to be. What I do want to say is, recently in my life, I have talked with people that I absolutely would trust with my life. I would turn my back and say, you cover that way, I'll cover this way. And then tell me during prayers for deliverance from certain things that they felt something leave their body. Whether we call it a demon, whether we call it a bad spirit, like for example, a spirit of lust, a spirit of righteousness. Sorry, it took me so long to think of that one. Or whatever the case. This person, a trusted person, actually told me, I felt something leave my body, and afterwards I was at peace. 3 separate occasions. So in the dream from yesterday, this is 8/31/2016, I believe the Lord was showing me through whiskey. We call that spirits. You go to the store and you go to the spirit store, you buy whiskey or whatever. He turned it into like a Genie bottle. Literally meaning the wine of her fornication, Mystery Babylon, is pretty much the conjuring up of spirits. And that's what's made everybody drunk out here. 3 weeks ago, had I shot this video and said this, I would have thought to myself, Byron, you're losing your mind. But that's how recent this stuff is for me. That's how, it's not like in the past I thought when a person said something kind of off from the conversation, I thought, well, that's an evil spirit. I didn't think that. I thought, man, this person needs some help. But now I'm listening for it. I'm like, okay, when's the spirit going to jump in here and cause something? And I'm fixing to bind it up. That's exactly how I think now. I've been here in this one area now for about, it may be a little over 48 hours. I've been praying over spiritual things. I mean, I've been, asking the Lord to break this dome, this covering of the wine of her fornication, the spiritual depravity that is being caused by these spirits from the dark side, from Satan. So anyway, I just wanted to say that, and I've got one other video, and I think it's on YouTube. It's called Jezebel Got Bottled Up. That's recalling that video is what brought me to this understanding. I would suggest to you, and you don't have to believe me, you don't have to accept what I'm saying, that I'm like a male person. I deliver what I believe the Lord's showing me. You can put it in the junk mails category, you can throw it in the garbage can, it doesn't matter. But I would submit to you that you may have some things that you haven't understood in your life, like everything was going fine until one day, and then, you know, Jimmy Job Bob or whatever started acting a little funny. And then the next day he was okay, and the next day he's funny again. And we're like, well, maybe he needs some medication. Well, you know, a lot of times I think the times that we've heard medication can be spirits that are affecting people. And sure, you know, like I've mentioned a couple times about doctors. I don't necessarily want to say that doctors are bad, because I know there's great doctors out there, and the Lord recommended me to do things with them. But it's not all medical. There's spiritual things here at work. So I'm just basically trying to say that's what came to me this morning based on yesterday's video, yesterday's dream, where I saw that bottle elongate, and then I realized just today it was a Genie bottle, and it's dealing with spirits. And you know, this battle that we're in, as much as maybe we've been indoctrinated that it's people on people, these spirits jump in, and suddenly we can say, man, this dude was all cool, and then suddenly he's crazy, and that's spiritual work. So that's just out there. We got to deal with it the best we can, pray for our own covering by the Lord, and then pray for other people, that this wine of Babylon's fornication doesn't continue to aggravate and frustrate people up to the point that it's too late, and the soldiers are here, you know, killing folks. So, all right, I'll let you go. That was phenomenal to come to me. It may not be the same for you, but I'm just telling you what's happening over here, and maybe it's helpful. I'll see you later.